Catskill, New York, September 1982. Late afternoon. Golden light filtering through the windows of Cus D'Amato's boxing gym. The old wooden building sits on a quiet street, paint peeling, floorboards creaking with every step. This is not a fancy facility, no chrome equipment, no sponsors' banners on the walls. Just a single ring in the center, heavy bags hanging from chains, a speed bag in the corner, and the smell of leather and sweat that has soaked into every surface over decades. Inside the ring stands a man who looks like he was carved from granite. Jimmy Hollins, 28 years old, 6 feet 2 inches, 220 pounds of muscle and ego. He is the reigning New York State heavyweight champion. He has 32 wins, 28 by knockout. He has never been knocked down, never been hurt, never met anyone who could challenge his power. He trains here sometimes because Cus D'Amato is a legend, the trainer who made Floyd Patterson a champion, who understands boxing better than almost anyone alive. But Jimmy does not come here to learn. He comes here to prove he is already the best. Cus D'Amato sits on a folding chair outside the ring. 75 years old, white hair, thick glasses, wearing his usual cardigan sweater and slacks. He watches everything with eyes that have seen 10,000 fighters, eyes that can spot talent the way a jeweler spots a diamond in rough stone. Next to him stands a boy, Michael Gerard Tyson, 16 years old, 5 feet 10 inches, 190 pounds, wearing a plain black t-shirt and grey sweatpants. He has been living with Cus for 8 months, pulled from a juvenile detention center where he was serving time for robbery. Cus saw something in this kid, saw past the anger and the violence and the pain, saw a fighter, maybe the greatest fighter Cus would ever train. But Mike is still a kid, still rough, still learning. He watches Jimmy Hollins work the heavy bag, watches the champion throw combinations that make the bag swing wildly on its chain, each punch landing with a sound like a car door slamming. Mike's eyes are focused, studying, absorbing. This is what Cus has taught him. Watch, learn, understand how other fighters move, how they think, how they telegraph their intentions. Jimmy finishes his workout, steps out of the ring, grabs a towel. He is breathing hard, but grinning, feeling good, feeling unstoppable. He notices Mike standing there, this teenager watching him with those strange, intense eyes. Jimmy walks over, still grinning. He looks down at Mike, then at Cus. "This the kid you've been talking about?" Jimmy asks. His voice is loud, confident, meant to be heard by everyone in the gym. "This is your next champion?" Cus does not look up from his notepad. "Yes," Jimmy laughs. Not a cruel laugh, just the laugh of a man who thinks he has heard a joke. "Cost, no disrespect, but this kid is 16. I'm the state champion. I've fought grown men, knocked out fighters with twice his experience. What makes you think he's ready for anything?" Cus looks up now. His voice is calm, quiet. The voice of a teacher stating a simple fact. Because he has what you do not have. Jimmy's grin fades slightly. "What's that?" "Fear," Cus says. He has learned to use his fear. You have never been afraid, so you do not understand how to fight through it. That makes you dangerous, but it also makes you limited. The words hang in the air. Jimmy's face darkens. He has just been insulted by the old man, told that he is limited, that this teenager has something he does not. His pride, already large, swells into something uglier. He looks at Mike again, this time without the grin. "You think this kid could touch me?" Jimmy asks. Cus does not answer. He just looks at Mike, and Mike understands the question that has not been asked. He understands what is about to happen, but this is where the story truly changes. Jimmy steps closer to Mike. He is not trying to intimidate. Not exactly. He is just used to being the biggest, the strongest, the most respected. "Kid, you've got potential, sure. Cus sees something in you. But potential isn't the same as being ready. You need years before you step in a ring with someone like me. Years of getting hit. Years of learning how to take punishment, how to deliver it. You understand?" Mike does not respond. He just stands there, hands at his sides, breathing steady. His face shows nothing. No anger, no fear, no excitement. Just focus. Jimmy mistakes the silence for weakness. He turns to Cus. "I'll tell you what, old man. Let me spar with the kid. Just a few rounds. Show him what a real champion feels like. Give him a taste of what he's working toward. It'll be good for him, teach him some humility." Cus removes his glasses, cleans them slowly with a cloth from his pocket. "You want to spar with Mike?" "Yeah," Jimmy says. "Light contact. Nothing serious. Just show him the difference between a kid with potential and a man with a title." Cus puts his glasses back on. He looks at Mike. "What do you think?" Mike's voice is quiet. almost a whisper. Okay, that is all he says. Just okay. But something in the way he says it, something in his eyes, makes Cus smile slightly. It is a small smile, barely visible, the smile of a teacher who knows his student is about to teach someone else a lesson. 20 minutes later, both fighters are in the ring. Jimmy has put on headgear and 16-ounce gloves, the standard equipment for sparring. Mike has done the same. The gym has filled up slightly. Word has spread that the state champion is about to spar with Cus's new kid. A dozen people stand around the ring, trainers and fighters, and curious locals. Everyone wants to see what happens when experience meets potential. Jimmy bounces on his toes, loose and confident. He has sparred thousands of rounds. This is just another day, another opportunity to prove his dominance. He looks across the ring at Mike, who stands perfectly still, hands up, gloves protecting his face, body slightly crouched. Mike's eyes are locked on Jimmy, not staring him down, just watching, calculating. Cus stands outside the ring, hands resting on the ropes. He does not need to give Mike instructions. They have trained for this moment for 8 months. Every day, hours and hours of work, building technique, building speed, building power, but most importantly, building the mental discipline to control the rage that lives inside Mike Tyson. That rage is a weapon, but only if it is aimed correctly. Unleashed wildly, it is useless. Controlled, focused, it is devastating. The timekeeper rings the bell. Round 1 begins. Jimmy moves forward immediately, establishing his range, using his height and reach advantage. He throws a jab, testing Mike's defense. Mike slips it easily, moving his head just enough. Jimmy throws another jab, then a right cross. Mike slips both, moving with a smoothness that surprises Jimmy. The kid is fast, faster than expected, but speed alone does not win fights. Jimmy presses forward, using his size to crowd Mike, to back him toward the ropes. He throws a combination, jab, jab, right hand, left hook. Mike slips the first 3, but the hook catches his glove. No damage, just contact. Jimmy grins. He has touched the kid. Now he will break him down. Mike does not retreat to the ropes. Instead, he steps forward, inside Jimmy's range, where the champion's long arms are less effective. This is what Cus has drilled into him. Get inside. Use your shorter height as an advantage. Make taller fighters uncomfortable. Jimmy tries to tie Mike up, to clinch and control him. But Mike's head dips, and suddenly he is free, on Jimmy's left side. Mike throws a left hook to the body. The punch lands clean, sinking into Jimmy's ribs, just below the protective edge of his gloves. The sound is dull, heavy. Jimmy's mouth opens slightly. He has been hit hard before, but this is different. This is not just power. This is precision. The punch landed exactly where it would do the most damage, right on the liver. Jimmy steps back, resets. His grin is gone now. He realizes this kid is not here to learn. This kid is here to fight. And this detail explains everything. Mike does not chase. He stays centered, patient, waiting for Jimmy to come to him. Jimmy, frustrated now, throws a wild right hand, trying to use his power to intimidate. Mike ducks under it, and as Jimmy's arm extends past him, Mike explodes upward with a right uppercut. The punch travels less than 8 inches, but carries all of Mike's body weight behind it. It catches Jimmy on the chin, snapping his head back violently. Jimmy's legs wobble. His eyes go unfocused for a split second. The gym gasps. The state champion, the man who has never been knocked down, has just been hurt by a 16-year-old. But Jimmy is tough. He is a champion for a reason. He shakes his head, blinks hard, refocuses. He cannot let this kid embarrass him. Not here. Not in front of these people. He sets his feet, throws a desperate combination, trying to land something big, something that will turn the momentum back in his favor. Mike sees every punch coming. He slips left, slips right, ducks, weaves. Jimmy's gloves cut through empty air, and then Mike steps in again, close, too close for Jimmy to defend properly. Mike throws a left hook to the body, another right uppercut to the chin, and then a left hook to the temple. 3 punches in less than 2 seconds. All 3 land perfectly. Jimmy's legs give out. He does not fall dramatically. He just sinks, his knees buckling, his gloves dropping to the canvas to catch himself. He is on all fours, head hanging, breathing hard, trying to understand what just happened. The referee, one of Cus's assistant trainers, steps in immediately, waving his arms. The sparring session is over. The gym is silent. No one speaks. No one moves. They have just watched a 16-year-old destroy a state champion in less than 2 minutes. Cus climbs slowly into the ring. He walks over to Jimmy, who is still on his knees. Cus kneels down beside him, puts a hand on his shoulder. You are a good fighter, Jimmy. A very good fighter. But you came here today with the wrong mindset. You came here to prove you were better. Mike came here to learn. And because he was willing to learn, he saw everything you did before you did it. Jimmy looks up at Cus. His face a mixture of shock and shame. He has trained his entire adult life for moments like this. He has fought men twice Mike's size, and a teenager just put him on the canvas. Cus helps Jimmy to his feet, removes his headgear, looks him in the eyes. This does not make you less. This makes you aware. Awareness is the first step to improvement. You can walk out of here angry, or you can walk out of here better. The choice is yours. Jimmy looks across the ring at Mike, who has already removed his gloves and is standing quietly in the corner, waiting. Mike's face shows no triumph, no arrogance. He looks the same as he did before the sparring session. Focused, calm, ready for whatever comes next. Jimmy walks over to Mike, extends his hand. Mike takes it. They shake, and Jimmy says quietly, "You're going to be something special, kid." Mike does not respond. He just nods once, releases Jimmy's hand, and steps out of the ring. At that moment, Mike Tyson made a choice. He chose not to gloat, not to celebrate, not to turn his victory into a performance. He chose to treat Jimmy with respect, to understand that this was not about humiliation. It was about truth. The truth that talent and hard work and mental discipline can overcome size and experience. The truth that Cus D'Amato saw in him 8 months ago when no one else did. That night, after everyone had left the gym, Cus sat with Mike in the small apartment above the gym where they both lived. Cus made tea, the same ritual they performed every evening, sitting at the old wooden table, reviewing the day's training. "You fought well today," Cus said. "You used everything I taught you." Mike nodded, sipping his tea. He was not a talkative kid. Words had never come easily, but with Cus, he felt safe. With Cus, he could be silent, and it was okay. Cus continued. "Jimmy Hollins will remember today for the rest of his life. Not because you beat him, because you showed him mercy afterward. That is the mark of a true champion. Not how hard you can hit, but how you treat people after you have hit them." Mike looked at Cus, and in that look was everything he could not say with words. Gratitude, respect, love. Gratitude, respect, love. Cus had given him more than boxing skills. Cus had given him a home, a purpose, a reason to believe he could be more than the angry, violent kid everyone else saw. Years later, after Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, after he knocked out Trevor Berbick and Michael Spinks and Larry Holmes, after he became one of the most feared fighters on the planet, reporters would ask him about his early days with Cus. They would ask him when he knew he could be great, and Mike would always tell them the same story. The story of the day he sparred with Jimmy Hollins. The day a 16-year-old nobody put a state champion on the canvas in less than 2 minutes. But what Mike rarely mentioned, what he kept private, was what Cus told him that night over tea. Cus said, "Power is easy, Mike. You were born with power. But control, discipline, respect, those are earned. Today you earned all three. Do not ever forget that." Mike Tyson never forgot. Even in his darkest moments, even when his life spiraled out of control, even when he lost everything, he remembered that day in Cus's gym. He remembered the feeling of fighting with purpose, with discipline, with respect, and he remembered the old man who believed in him when no one else did. Cus D'Amato died in 1985, just 1 year before Mike won the heavyweight championship. He never got to see his final student become the youngest champion in boxing history. But Cus knew. He knew that day in 1982 when he watched a 16-year-old kid dismantle a grown champion. He knew Mike Tyson would be something the boxing world had never seen before, and he was right. And he was right.